Haggerty Roast, coming to you from the MGM Grand Hotel in the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Ladies and gentlemen, from the beautiful Ziegfeld Room, tonight's star-studded roast has brought together some of the world's greatest entertainers. They've come from all over the world to be here tonight, here in Las Vegas, in person, joining Dean Martin as he honors tonight's very special Woman of the Hour, Betty White. With tonight's guests, Peter Marshall, Georgia Engel, Phyllis Diller, John Hillerman, Red Buttons, Bonnie Franklin, LaWanda Page, Jimmy Walker, Rich Little, Dan Haggerty, Foster Brooks, Abe Vigoda, Orson Welles, Milton Berle, and your roastmaster, Dean Martin, with tonight's Woman of the Hour, Betty White.
Gathered at the beautiful MGM Hotel in Las Vegas to honor the star of the Betty White Show, Miss Betty White. I look forward to being part of this glowing tribute, and about 3 this afternoon, I got a good start on my glow. On the Mary Tyler Moore Show, Betty played the part of Sue Ann, who tried to make it with every guy in the newsroom. But the truth of it is, she's a swinger in real life. She's so desperate, the other day at the studio, the security guard caught her giving out Hershey bars to the Osmond brothers. I feel sorry for her husband, Alan. He's pretty square, you know. When Betty was first dating him, she'd pretend she was shy. She'd always say, "I can't make love with the lights on. Could you please close the car door?" Here he is, a beautiful guy, Mr. Peter Marshall.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the last time I was here, I was the person being roasted, and Betty, you're in for a special, special night. I tell you. Wait till you see the party Dean throws after the show. Now, for me, he had all my friends, 2 bartenders, the Guy Lombardo Orchestra, a couple of girls from Hallelujah Hollywood, and that was just in the taxi cab. I know about Betty is what I'm learning here this evening. I know she's crazy about cats and dogs. In fact, John Hillerman knew that. You see, Betty went to one of John's parties, and during dinner, she spayed and neutered his animal crackers. And if I were Grizzly Adams, I could say, nobody wants to sit next to me. I've been sleeping with a bear for 6 months. So what? Betty White's been sleeping 15 years with a turkey. In the words of Phyllis Diller, who once said to Betty, she said, "Beware of cheap facelifts. I had one in Teflon. Now my makeup keeps sliding off."
Our next guest is the comedy star of Good Times, Jimmy Dynamite Walker. Every time I see this guy, he gets thinner and thinner, but he's been thin all his life. The day he was born, his mother thought she had given birth to a shoelace. Mr. Jimmy Walker.
When they first asked me to be on the Betty White roast, I was like many other people out there. I didn't know anything about Betty White. So I called my man, Alex Haley of Roots. Try to get something happening, you know? That's right. And like so many other people in America, Betty does have black roots. Her cousin, I don't know if you know about her. Cousin Roxanne served in the Confederate Army. She surrendered at Appomattox. She surrendered at Shiloh. She surrendered at Bull Run. Anywhere the troops went, she surrendered. And Betty also has a famous cousin that we all know. That's a famous house painter called Off-White. She still has a lot of relatives living in the Midwest. One of them is a faith healer called Miracle White. And Betty, she told me, she says, I like to be kind to the little people. She learned that from her great-great-grandmother, Snow White.
A very pretty girl who stars in the hit television show One Day at a Time. You know, people are always asking me, where are the new stars coming from? Well, this young lady is coming from my right. From my left. Well, she'll be right here. Yeah, Miss Bonnie Franklin, bring her out here. Let's go.
Say that it's wonderful to be here. But I think that you all should know up front that I have never met Betty White. That's the gospel truth. Or I'm sorry, I didn't mean to brag. If I sound a little bitter here, give me a chance to explain, okay? A few years ago, this nice lady, this lady I never met, with over-dimpled star, was overstocked with dogs. Now, a friend of hers suggested that she give one to me. I went in just to have his ears clipped. Simple, right? No, it wasn't simple. They wanted $50 to give him the dry look. Imagine that. I can do that at home, free, just by putting a newspaper under it. You may not know this, but Betty also takes in actors down on their luck. And it's great. Well, if you don't mind being wormed and neutered.
I give you red button.
I'm delighted to be here tonight for Betty White, who once said to her husband, Alan Ludden, "Not tonight, unless you know the password." Why? Why are we giving Betty White a dinner? And some of the greatest women in the history of the world never got a dinner. Eve, who said to Adam in the Garden of Eden, "Sure, you're the first man, but not with me." Never got a dinner. Maid Marian, who said to Robin Hood, "I will not live in a house with a little John." To my ear, who said to President Carter, "Give Panama the canal, give us the locks." Marie Antoinette, who said on the way to the guillotine, "Can you just take a little off the top?" Mrs. Anwar Sadat, who said to Anwar, "Make peace already, I'm dying for a corned beef sandwich." Lance's teacher, Set the little Bert. Now let's go over it again. 1 and 1 is 3. 3 and 3 is 8. 8 and 8 is 94. 94 and 94 is 136.
To introduce, boy, it's nice with glasses. It's always a great pleasure to introduce our next guest, that genuine genius of the cinema, Mr. Orson Welles.
Thank you, Dean. Betty, it's a privilege to be on this dais. I had hoped that because you're a woman, our panel tonight would refrain from their usual gross behavior, but no. All night it's been like watching sweat hogs in tuxedos. I'm appalled at some of the vicious remarks we've been hearing, especially by you, Buttons, you mendacious little munchkin. Special recently about King Tut, the Egyptian pharaoh. And when that ancient tomb was opened, he isn't here to accept the applause, but I know he'd be grateful. When that ancient tomb was opened, they found next to his mummy something even older. 4 jokes you did here last night. And you, Milton Berle, I know you have some remarks, snide ones. A man who's too old to attack a woman shouldn't be attacking a woman. And instead of brutal insults and coarse jokes, I, on the other hand, have brought you a little nosegay in verse. Of all the lovely ladies on TV who grace our screen by night, the last with class who steams my glass is lovely Betty White. Her flowing gowns, her tailored suits, the way she fills her halters. Why, hers are better front page scoops than even Barbara Walters. Yes, I've loved you long, don't get me wrong. I think that this is Sutton, for nothing stands between us now, and his name is Alan Ludden.
Most everybody knows our guest of honor. Betty White is totally dedicated, here we go again, to the preservation of wildlife and, what is that? You don't have to get mad at me. What mad at me for? I'll put my glasses on and I'll read it, that's all. Oh, domesticated. Everybody knows our guest of honor, Betty White, is totally dedicated to the preservation and wildlife of domesticated pets, right? Well, tonight we have a surprise for her.
Oh, yeah, most everybody knows. I'll do it for you, Dean. Everybody knows our guest of honor, Betty White, is totally dedicated to the preservation of wildlife and domesticated pets. Like dogs and cats. Well, tonight we have a surprise for her. We've invited her favorite pet shop owner, a man who runs the most exclusive shop in Beverly. This is the way you're supposed to do it. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vital Baboon. Vidal, I did it the way he did it. Vidal Baboon.
of all, I'd like to say hello to the millions of pets all over America. Is one of my best customers. She always comes to me for advice. Recently, she had a problem with a pet Pekingese. The dog wouldn't eat. I solved that problem. I trained the dog to eat at the sound of the bell. Of course, it didn't work out too well. The other day, he ate the Avon lady. The time I met Betty, she brought me her dog. It was a pointer. I told the dog it's impolite to point. Just nudge. You know what this is? It's a personalized dog whistle. It has a pitch that only the dogs can hear. You see Phyllis Diller's ears perk up? Well, Dean, I've got to go now and walk my dog.
Walk your dog? You told me he's dead.
So then I'll drag it.
Holy Palace, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up now is a very funny lady. I know you already like her. You've seen her on Sanford and Son as Aunt Esta, where she used to give lots of lip to Red Fox. But our next guest is really a kind, warm-hearted lady. Ladies and gentlemen, lovely Miss LaWanda Page.
Thank you, Dean. That's the story of my life. From old Red Fox to old Red Eyes.
Just because I got red eyes and a white face, that don't mean I'm a drunk. I could be a rabbit.
Not according to the foxes you've been dating lately. Now, let me see. Let me put on my cheetah so I can see. Now, let's see. Which one is Betty White? Get a bunch of you albinos on one dais and you all look alike. Honey, they say the same thing about us, but that's a lie. Honey, we come in all colors. Light, bright, almost white. Chocolate, vanilla, tutti frutti, all rooty. I see you, Jimmy Walker. Don't try to hide behind your swizzle stick. I heard what you've been saying about me. With your double-breasted lips, honey, you can blow a tuba from the wrong end. And what you laughing at, Abe Pagoda? You fish. Honey, you better pray that Red Fox will live forever. Because when he dies, honey, you'll be the ugliest man in the world. They're trying to look cute, Phyllis Diller. Honey, I remember your old face. Honey, when you used to walk into a room, the mice would jump on chairs. Honey, you had your face lifted so tight, when you raised your eyebrows, you pull up your pantyhose. And to be honest, folks, I don't even know why I'm at a dinner for Betty White. I'm only kidding. Of course, your name is famous. They honor you all over the South, honey. Over every drinking fountain, there's a sign that says, white only. I'm probably here because you couldn't get Farrah Fawcett.
I wish Farrah were here. That's one faucet really turns me on.
Honey, don't tell me about your plumbing problems. You like a hot water faucet in a cheap hotel. Even when you turned on, nothing happens. And quit putting on my skirt with them hot hands, honky. You keep that up and you won't be just host of the roast. Mess with me and you'll be jive turkey fricassee. Now, about 5 years ago, I got lucky.
5 years since you got lucky? So that's what makes you so mean, huh?
Listen, sucker. Where I come from, sex is a misdemeanor.
Yeah, the more you miss it, the meaner you get.
Good night, Dean. Good night, baby. Good night, John Boy. And thank you all.
Willow.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you very much. There have been a lot of references tonight about my plastic surgery, and I just want to say that I'm not the least bit sensitive about it. It's not easy for me to look this good. You see, I have to do a lot of things. Like every day I use olive oil and mineral oil and vegetable oil and grease, turtle oil. In fact, I just got an offer from Exxon. They want to drill. And I do admit that I had my skin tightened. Everybody knows that. I'm not saying how much. Let me just put it this way. If the knot ever lets go, I can slingshot this whole room to death. To be here in honor of my good friend Betty White. Betty has everything that Miss America has. Unfortunately, they served her child's portions. If it wasn't for her hickey, she'd have no figure at all. Now, actually, Betty is a homebody. Of course, with a body like hers, you ought to stay home. People have complained about her posture. They say that she always looks like she's sitting down. It's not true. She just happens to be short and dumpy. I could have had my own show. Actually, they wanted me to star in a series called The Bubonic Woman. Betty, I wish you lots of good luck with your show. And I just don't have a jealous bone in my body, and I want you to know that. Besides all the other things my plastic surgeon did, he had me filleted. Frankly, I could have had my own show, but I wouldn't do what the producer wanted me to do. Get out of his motel room.
It's Phyllis Diller. Ladies and gentlemen, a fine actor and one of the nicest guys in the business, Abe the Gold Dog.
Betty, I think you'll enjoy doing your new show. For you, makeup will be easy. Me, well, I have to sit in a makeup chair for 6 hours. Without makeup, I look like Robert Redford. Because of TV, so many people think I'm a real cop. I go into a bar, and all the pretty girls in low-cut dresses run out. That's why I went in there in the first place. I know I'm at the age when a guy wants to retire, but not at everything. After all, I'm not dead. I just need a tune-up. Even the neighbors get to thinking you're a cop. The guy next door calls me in the middle of the night and says, Abe, somebody broke into my house and is stealing the silverware. You'd better help. Now, why should I help a stranger steal my neighbor's silverware? Eddie, I wish you lots of good luck on your show. And I say, let's get violence off the street and back in marriage where it belongs.
Gentlemen, the world's greatest rich little...
Oh, yeah. Betty, as I stand here looking at those dimples and that Sunday school face, you'd never know what a swinger she was when she was single. So when she married Alan Ludden, it came as a big shock to a lot of the men who knew her well. For instance, Henry Kissinger.
I used to go with Betty, and she was really funny.
Johnny Carson said, But what I don't understand is how she could go out with me and marry what's-his-name. I mean, that guy is so square.
How square is he?
So square, he goes to a do-it-yourself massage parlor, takes off his clothes, gives himself a massage, leaves $10, and then goes home.
Gee, I've been leaving 20. This is the distinguished actor, Mr. John Hillerman, who plays the part of Betty's ex-husband on her new TV series. Ladies and gentlemen, a fine actor, Mr. John Hillerman.
Thank you, Dean. And while we're on the subject of motion pictures, the biggest one around these days is that science fiction thriller. I think that since Star Wars was such a success, they ought to make one about your life. Bar Wars. Why not? You've been floating around in space for years. I've gone to Ludden home in Brentwood many times, and it's obvious from the start that these are two people who've had a long association with game shows. What other house, instead of a single entrance, has door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3? On the wall, there's an oil painting of Gary Moore beating the hell out of an imposter on To Tell the Truth. closing, I'd like to say you're a terrific star and a terrific lady. And since we're in Las Vegas, I hope throughout your life you keep throwing sevens, because you're a natural.
Everybody loves our next guest, Georgia Engel. George is one of the sweetest and shyest people you'll ever meet. She's so shy that before she gets undressed at night, she puts a cover over the birdcage. Miss Georgia Engel.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Call me by my first name.
Okay. What is it? Whenever I come on these roasts, your producer gives me zingers to say about the people here on the dais. So here I am again with some raps, slams, and put-down stick. Mr. Martin, what does shtick mean?
No, I just woke up. I don't know.
I see Phyllis Diller sitting over there. I wouldn't say she looks bad, but her boyfriend took her to the tunnel of love and told her to wait outside. Excuse me, Phyllis, that wasn't very nice to say. I don't know why everybody makes fun of your looks. Your face is nothing to laugh at. It's always nice to see Dean Martin here. He loves staying at the MGM Grand. They have 14 bars here, and they're all within staggering distance. I know you don't drink. You're just acting. In fact, last night at the bar, he was acting so good they had to carry him to his room. I see Milton Berle sitting over there. Last week, he played Las Vegas, and the audience gave him a standing yawn. I didn't mean to say that. I don't know why they're always putting your act down. It must be good. You've been doing the same material for 40 years. Well, here's the next singer. I see that John Hillerman is here tonight. Mr. Hillerman is so unknown that when he looks in a mirror, he doesn't recognize himself. They made me say that, John. I don't think you're unknown. This afternoon in the lobby, 3 people came up to me, pointed you out to me, and said, "Who is that?" And now we come to our guest of honor, my very good friend, Betty White. I see that they've given me a few more than the others. Betty's been around a long time. I'm not saying how old she is, but her driver's license says for covered wagons only. I don't know why they say things like that. You're in the prime of life. Only it takes you a little longer to get primed. I don't know why the producers keep giving me these zingers to insult you with. I've known you for a long time. I can do that myself. That's it for the zingers.
TV, but what is it what's she really like, huh? To find out, we've invited an expert from her past as a special surprise to our guest of honor. We've thrown in a man who was one of her first boyfriends, someone who has known her intimately. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Betty White's former fiancé. very much, Diplo. Now you should stop getting gas because President Carter is slapping a tax on big guzzlers. But anyway, it's a thrill for me to sway before you tonight and pay tribute to my old my old the old broad I used to mess around with. Now this lovely creature and I go way back. Way back. I still remember the first time I laid eyes on Dimples here. We went out on a blind date. She was outdated and I was blind. Now you may not realize it. I sure don't. But it was Betty. Betty has always had a passion for animals. And anything that flies or crawls. Nothing personal, dude. Our next date we went, oh, will you hear this? We went down to the lake and parked in the same dark spot, real romantic spot, and I slipped off my shirt, and then I slipped off my pants, I slipped off my trousers, and there we were there until 2 o'clock in the morning doing the same old thing. Throw the stick in the water and I'd fetch it. Gift to nature, Mr. Dan Grizzly Adams Haggerty.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dean. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to be here this evening. Besides my respect for Betty White as a talent, Betty and I do share a common interest in our like for animals. Now, Betty's is geared more towards dogs and cats. Betty knows nothing about wildlife, but how could she? Look who she's married to. Alan Ludden. When I first met Betty, her and a group of her friends were very interested in saving wildlife in our national forests. So she called me up and she said, Dan, would you like to join us on a little 2-day outing with some of my Hollywood friends? I said, sure, I'd love to. So we left on this little jaunt and around, I think it was January. Now, I'm not going to say that the people she invited were dull, but when Ben, my bear, saw him, well, he immediately left a wake-up call for next July. And Betty volunteered to cook dinner for everybody. She went out and gathered roots and herbs and berries and boiled them in a pot. Well, I'm going to give you an idea what this stuff tasted like. If we were in the Amazon River, natives would have come from hundreds of miles just to dip their arrows in it. Now, of course, we had some discomfort. We were bothered by mosquitoes all night. Everybody but Milton Berle. All the slapping that was going on, Milton thought I was clapping, and he kept taking bows all night. It's going to be a long time before I forget that 2 days with Betty White. In fact, before we came on tonight, I heard that her and a group of her friends were going out to the woods again, so I immediately started making plans. I called Ben up and I said, I'll be home after the show. We'll set some traps for him.
And a good friend, Mr. Milton Berle.
congratulate you, Dean. You really look great. Your eyes are so shiny and bright. You drinking that Windex again? Oh, Dean, I forgot to thank you, Dean, for the candle and the wine that you sent to my room. But you forgot to send up a girl. That's what you forgot.
I figured at your age, just lighting the candle would wear you out.
There's no way to speak to me. No way to talk to me. After all, you're talking to Mr. Television. I was on your television set every Tuesday night for 25 years.
That's a coincidence. I was under it.
Ladies and gentlemen, wake up. I am here tonight to honor Betty White, which gives you an idea of what's happening to my career. Betty has had an unusual career, and this is the truth. When she was 18, they gave her a loving cup because she won a dance contest. She won it by doing the dance of the virgins, which she performed from memory. Then she went out on the road and traveled with the Tommy Dorsey Band. She wasn't a singer, she just liked to travel with the band, that's all. It's a pleasure to see lovely Phyllis Diller over there. Look at that face. Phyllis, were there any survivors? Look at that hair. We dig it. She looks like she was pardoned after the warden threw the switch. Here, Marshall, you surprised me tonight. Really, you're usually so good. For those of you who haven't seen the show, Dan Haggerty, he's the one who walks with the rifle in front and a bear behind. J.J. Walker, all sharpened with his tie on. We were very funny tonight. And by the way, J.J. is the only one who wasn't in the picture Roots. I saw the picture. I turned Roots off after 15 minutes because nobody scored a basket. I hear they're going to show Roots in Africa. They're going to show it backwards so it has a happy ending.
Guest of honor, woman of the hour. There's only one man who can do it properly. Her wonderful husband, Mr. Alan Ludden.
Hey, you know, Dean, I'm really a lucky man. I am married to a wonderful woman and a great cook.
A wonderful woman and a great cook. Ain't that bigamy?
No. It's when you're supporting two women. That's bigamy.
That's insanity.
I realize that a woman is entitled to have her own pursuits. Certainly. But really, do dogs have such a part in Betty's life? It's really her whole life. For instance, when I proposed to her, the first thing she said was, sit up and beg. She wouldn't even accept my ring until I rolled over and played dead. And then on our honeymoon, she rolled over and played dead. You know, however, there isn't a husband in the world who doesn't spend some time in the doghouse. But he should consider himself very lucky if he's married to the best in breed. And I am. Ladies and gentlemen, the blue ribbon winner of my life and the woman of the hour, Betty White Ludden.
I really haven't had this much fun since I was kissed by Ted Knight. And I was really thrilled and surprised to see Dean make it tonight. I guess it was about 4 o'clock this morning. I saw him getting into an elevator with a six-pack. 3 girls under each arm. I really would like to say how funny Milton Berle was tonight. I can't. Listening to Milty, I found myself hoping there is such a thing as reincarnation. Because he really deserves another chance to be a comedian. And Red Buttons. I'm really happy Red could be here. You know, you probably don't know this, Red, but many, many years ago, I made a promise to myself. I promised that I would follow your career right from the beginning. Tell me, when is it going to begin? And Georgia Engel. I mean, what can you do with Georgia? Well, no, I'm really happy she showed this evening. When I say showed, I mean that in a very nice way. She directed all her remarks to me with great restraint, as you noticed. She's really an old-fashioned girl. And one good thing about old-fashioned girls, they're gradually disappearing. I'm not going to say anything about Abe Vigoda because I really respect age.
So do I, especially if it's bottled.
Old wine is one thing, Dean, but old fish. Oh, and there's Phyllis Diller, my dear little cookie. I use the word cookie in reference to her crummy appearance. No, honey, I do like your hairdo. I really do. You look like a leaky Farrah faucet. And LaWanda, I bet you're happy that there is a Betty White show on television this season. I mean, with all the shows like Red Fox and Richie Pryor and Sanford Arms and What's Happening and Good Times and the Jeffersons, it's a novelty to see a white on television. Squaring up, I really had a great time, and I want to thank you for a wonderful evening. Dean, I love you. Thank you.